It's always the same scene. You sit down, open your laptop, and start focusing on something important. The screen lights up. Your fingers begin to type. You're finally in that zone. The quiet, steady rhythm of concentration. And then, your cat appears. Maybe they jump onto your desk, walk across your keyboard, or sit directly in front of your monitor, blocking the exact spot you need to see. Maybe they curl up right on your notebook, or start meowing as if they have something urgent to say, something far more important than your deadline. And you just sit there, half amused, half exasperated, wondering why? Why do they always do this? It's funny, because no matter how many times it happens, we still fall for it. The irresistible pull of those paws, those eyes, that fluffy insistence. You try to push them away gently, but then they look at you, and somehow you feel guilty for working in the first place. So, why do cats love to bother us while we work? Is it attention-seeking? Jealousy? Or could it be something deeper, something emotional, instinctive, maybe even loving in its own mysterious way? Let's take a closer look. First, let's remember one thing. Your cat doesn't understand work. They don't see your laptop as a tool for productivity. They see it as competition. From their perspective, you've suddenly become still and silent. Your eyes locked on a glowing object that makes noise and steals your attention. In the feline world, attention is connection. When your attention shifts elsewhere, they feel it, like a subtle emotional distance. So, in their own way, they try to bring you back. By sitting on your keyboard, by rubbing against your hand, by stretching across your papers. It's their version of saying, "Hey, remember me? I'm here too." They're not trying to ruin your focus. They're trying to join it. Cats are deeply attuned to your routines and your energy. They notice your patterns. The time you wake up, the way you move around, the tone of your voice when you're calm or tense. When you start working, you enter a different state. Focused, still, distant. To a cat, that's unusual. They sense that something has shifted in the emotional energy of the room. So, they respond by inserting themselves back into your awareness. Not because they want to distract you, but because they want to connect again. They're saying, "You may be in your world, but I want to be part of it." It's not unlike a small child tugging at your sleeve when you're on your phone. It's not misbehavior. It's emotional communication. Your cat is simply speaking in the only language they know, proximity. There's also a psychological element at play, what animal behaviorists call associative attention. Cats learn what captures your focus. They see that your hands move when you type, that your eyes light up when you look at the screen, and that the glowing device always gets more of you than they do. So, they associate that object, your computer, your book, your phone, with your attention, and they think, if I want attention, I have to be where that object is. It's a kind of clever logic. If you love the laptop, I'll sit on the laptop. That way, you'll notice me. They're not wrong. Because no matter how busy you are, you do notice them. And every time you pet them, smile at them, or even say, "Not now, please," you reinforce that connection. Your cat learns, when I do this, I get a reaction. To them, reaction equals love. But beyond behavior, there's emotion. Cats are emotional creatures, just quieter about it. They may seem aloof or independent, but they attach deeply to their humans. When they bother you during work, they're not just saying, "Pay attention." They're saying, "I feel safe with you." Think about it. Cats don't interrupt just anyone. They don't sprawl across the keyboard of a stranger. They do it with the people they trust most. Because in their world, closeness equals comfort. When they curl up next to your laptop or lie across your notebook, they're marking that space as shared territory. It's their way of blending their scent with yours, claiming that little piece of your world is ours, not just yours. So, that moment when they plop down right on your keyboard, that's love, wrapped in fur and a bit of chaos. There's also a simple truth. Cats love warmth. And what's warm? Your laptop. your keyboard, your body. When you work, you create little pockets of heat, physical and emotional. The hum of your computer, the warmth of your hands. That's cat heaven. So while you think they're invading your space, they're really just seeking comfort. You happen to be both their favorite person and their favorite source of heat. Lucky you. Let's go a little deeper though. Why does it sometimes annoy us so much? Why do we feel guilty when we push them away? Because deep down, we recognize something in that moment. A reflection of how often we, too, crave attention but can't ask for it. When a cat walks across your desk, they're doing what humans rarely do, demanding connection openly. They don't overthink it. They don't wonder if it's inconvenient. They just follow their instinct to be near the one they love. And maybe that's why it touches us even when it frustrates us. Because somewhere inside, we wish we could express love that simply too. Psychologically speaking, cats also mirror your state of mind. If you're stressed, they feel it. If you're anxious or tense, they may act out more, not out of defiance, but empathy. Their way of comforting isn't always calm. Sometimes, it's interrupting your tension. They break the rhythm, the endless typing, the overthinking, and force you to pause. They say, take a breath, touch something real, come back to the moment. It's strange, but many people notice that their cats seem to sense when they're overwhelmed. They'll show up out of nowhere, sit on your lap, and purr until your breathing slows down. That's not coincidence. It's co-regulation. Two nervous systems syncing through warmth and sound. Their purring has been scientifically shown to calm human anxiety. And maybe that's exactly why they come when they do. They're not bothering you. They're healing you. And maybe, in some cosmic way, cats know something we don't. That the world we build, all these screens, schedules, and to-do lists, sometimes pulls us too far from the present. And when we drift too far, they bring us back. They remind us that love isn't found in productivity, but in presence. They remind us that connection doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It happens right in the middle of our busy lives, in the interruptions, in the small, soft insistence of a paw on your hand. Maybe that's their secret role, to be our grounding force, to remind us to stop, smile, and feel alive again. So the next time your cat walks across your laptop, or sits on your notes, or curls up exactly where you don't want them, maybe don't see it as mischief. See it as communication. A quiet, wordless, I love you. A reminder that you're not alone in your little bubble of tasks and deadlines. They're saying, I see you. I'm here. You matter to me. And maybe that's worth the few minutes of distraction. Some people might still say, they're just cats. They don't think that deeply. But maybe that's exactly the beauty of it. They don't need to think love. They just live it. They don't need to overanalyze affection. They express it. And in a world where we overthink everything, our worth, our time, our relationships, maybe that's the reminder we need most. To love simply. To show up for someone, even when it's inconvenient. To curl up next to them and say, without words, I'm here with you. That's what your cat does every time they bother you. They're not taking your time. They're sharing it. And if you listen closely, there's something poetic in that interruption. You're in your human world. Deadlines, goals, screens. They're in theirs. Warmth, instinct, presence. When those two worlds collide, something honest happens. A small moment of real connection. A gentle reminder that love doesn't always look like we expect it to. Sometimes, it looks like a paw pressing a keyboard. Sometimes, it sounds like a soft purr between meetings. Sometimes, it simply means, you've worked enough for today. Come back to me. And maybe that's not annoyance. Maybe that's wisdom. Speech balloon, do you have a cat like this too? The one who sits on your laptop, walks across your desk, or insists on being the center of attention the moment you start working? If you do, tell me in the comments. Share what your cat does, how they choose to love you in their funny, persistent, adorable way. Because maybe their interruptions aren't distractions at all. Maybe they're lessons, reminders to slow down, to connect, to remember that love doesn't wait until we're finished working. It happens right in the middle of everything. So next time your cat bothers you, smile. Take that as a small, furry blessing. Because in their world, bothering you is love. Maybe cats don't interrupt our work. Maybe they interrupt our disconnection. Maybe they remind us that being busy isn't the same as being alive. And sometimes, the little creature lying on your keyboard is the only one wise enough to pull you back to the moment that really matters.